Hi everyone, this is Christina within the garden, and I am down in the greenhouse today grabbing what I can to put into the upper raised beds and our vertical green stock. Things like these artichokes will need bigger spaces, so what we're doing next week, a week from now, is we're redoing the garden shop area. So we're going to pull back the mat that we put down that we showed you with all of the holes in it for the irrigation we've got down there. And we're going to level it, and then we're going to lay it back down, and then we'll put things like these artichokes into the garden shop beds. And then we also bought the raised birdie beds from Epic Gardening, so I'll put things like these brassicas here into those beds. So a week from now, this whole greenhouse will be empty. We'll finish the rest of our onions, but today we're going to move out the herbs. We're going to move out strawberries like this. We're going to move out some cosmos, some marigolds that I have down here, and some of the flowers that we've got in here. Oh, and here, let me show you. These are the nasturtiums, if you can see that. So we've got several nasturtiums that can go into the garden beds. So everything herb, any tomatoes. We're going to move some of the marigolds, like I said, out. Let me look. Oh, the green beans. Let me grab those. These got a little crunchy, but they'll be fine. I put these out to be hardened off, and they didn't get like this when I was hardening them off. It actually got this way when we brought them back in here, and I forgot to water them for 2 days. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the garden bed. That way we don't have to worry about whether these are getting enough water inside the greenhouse from now on. So let's get out to the garden bed, and then next weekend know that we're going to empty out the rest of this for all of our cold crops, our brassicas, but have cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and I think that's it. Oh, cauliflower. And cauliflower's already started right there. So let's get these in the ground. In the meantime, we do have a little bit of space, and I want the tomatoes to start taking off. So let's get going. Okay, I brought some trays out here, and some over there. So some quick housekeeping. Tomatoes can go in here with the garlic, and the garlic won't be ready until sometime around the 4th of July. So having them there is fine. The Oregon sugar peas and the snow peas we planted by seed. The beets we planted by seed. These are, this one is the nasturtium, and these are forget-me-nots. Here's some peppers and tomatoes. And I went ahead and sprayed these peppers because they had aphids on them. So if you have aphids, grab this soap off Amazon, Dr. Bonner's, and you can get it in lavender or no scent. You add it with water and a little bit of soap, and you spray it. And that will get rid of your aphids safely. So we're gonna put tomatoes, trail some nasturtiums off the side, and put some marigolds. These are marigolds, and these are poppies. And then over here we had the onions and those snap peas, the sugar snap peas that I grew inside the greenhouse. There is our Shasta daisies. They started over there, and they've seeded themselves in the rocks on the edge and over here. And I'm just gonna let them go for it because I love Shasta daisies. Then these are our variety of green beans, some okra. I will not be planting, this is cabbage, I believe. Yeah, red cabbage. We're not gonna plant that in here, it needs more room. Some more Shasta daisies reseeding themselves. There's celery. These are our bulb onions that we put in, not our long green ones, but the actual bulbs themselves. So that is, what is it? Sutton Garter onions. Some butter crunch lettuce I started here. These are shallots, celery that we put out here. These are raspberries. This is our Yukon Gold potatoes and onions from last year. So I'll take you around as I put the plants in, but these were all started from seed in my greenhouse. We'll start with the tomatoes first, and we're gonna put in the organic Espoma tomato tone. That way they have a good chance of taking off. So we're gonna start here with our tomatoes, and then we're gonna go over here. The idea here is just to not necessarily get it in the same spot that you have a garlic growing, so that you have a little bit of space. And you want it close to the trellis so that you can start weaving it in and out when it gets big enough. Here is the heirlooms, and I just clipped the edges off. When this gets bigger, I'll also clip lower leaves off, but don't let anything touch the soil because the water will splash back up and cause disease on your tomatoes. So those are heirloom. Now these are going to be, again, the Cherokee Purple, so let's do those next. They're bigger tomatoes, so I'm going to put them on this side so they get a lot of sun. The cherry tomato one called Sun Gold Cherry, I'll put over here with the onions, and then we'll save some peppers and go ahead and disperse them through here. So we're gonna dig a hole right about here first. Okay. Put your tomato tone in. Grab your tomato. This is 2 tomatoes, so we can try to separate it. If it doesn't separate, then we will leave them together. But let's just see. Okay, now clip your, if you use clips, that'll be better, because when you tear, sometimes these are so fragile that they just tear the center of the stem. Okay, and then let's put that in the hole. Another one right here. Okay, clip your little guys so they don't touch the ground, and it won't hurt them. They still got that much. Put it in the hole. Stand it upright. And I try not to plant 2 different tomatoes in the same area if I only have 1 tag. And also, you know, if the first 2 don't do exceedingly well, you have the other 2. Okay, and then you're just gonna keep trying to train your beans up the trellis, and they'll live with the tomatoes just fine. Now for the cherry tomatoes, I'm gonna go ahead and try to plant all 4. I might regret that later, but these are gonna be, so we've got 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Now I could actually save one of the Sun Gold cherries and put it in the green stock. So why don't we pick the smallest one, and then we'll go ahead and, maybe this one, we'll go ahead and put it in the green stock. Before I do that, let's clip all the little side shoots. All right, so and look at that root system that we grew that from seed, and look how strong the stalk is. So what I might do is move it over here, and when the trellis is here, it'll grow on both sides. So let's go ahead. And now you could use garden tone in this case for something like a green bean. So we can go grab some garden tone. And then while these onions are putting on growth, we can have green beans. So this is called interplanting, where we plant right next to each other. So that's our green beans. You can see here we have a potato. but I didn't plant any potatoes in here. So what I'm gonna do is put my Nardello, I think is how you say it, sweet pepper. So we're gonna put, let's see, we've got 4. So how about we do 1, 2, 3. We have 4 peppers and 3 growing holes. Now we've got this red and yellow blend. So for my documenting purposes, Cherokee red and Cherokee red on both sides. And there's 2 in 1, so let's pull it apart. We'll put 1 here and 1 here. As well. So potatoes are growing under the surface. Peppers are going to be growing above the surface. So you can do this, but you have to be careful that the foliage from the potatoes doesn't shade out your peppers, because your peppers absolutely love heat. And so without enough sun, they won't actually fruit as well for you. So you gotta be careful. Okay, and we only actually ended up having 2 plugs grow anything, and this one has another little one. So I'll let that one stay and see if it does anything, but otherwise most gardeners would just clip it out and make the larger, more productive one your standard one that you plan to use, so that they don't take the same amount of energy away from each other. Jimmy Nardo, which is like a green, thinner pepper. These are red and yellow blend peppers. And then we'll have potatoes, tomatoes, and onions. And then we're gonna save this one for our green stock. So we're back to the garlic beds, and we have a lot of things going on here. We have Jackson Wonder bush beans. We have Florida, what is it, a butter bean? And then the Kentucky Wonder bean, which I also think is a butter bean. Okay, that's a really healthy root system. Okay, so with a trellis system like this, when these 2, it's actually going to be 4 plants. I don't know if I could separate it. Let's try. Normally what you would do is to prevent yourself from creating breakage in the root system is you would have clipped one of these out. So let's give it a go. And the soil is very loose because we had worked the soil early on. So let's just put this here. These will all be the same kind of bean, which is perfect. And in the past, my butter beans never even would sprout from seedlings. So I'm so very excited that these are remotely interested in growing. Clip away the ones that are closest to the ground. I don't know if they're similar as tomatoes, but unfortunately some of these got burnt anyway, so I was okay with clipping them. And then let's see, this actually kind of needs to go down quite a bit. There we go. And those 2 are fine. Now these will all get a bunch of water so they don't totally go into shock. Because look already, the tomato is sad and weepy, but I promise it'll be better. It's just in shock. Doesn't that look amazing with this little pillar there? And just imagine beans all the way up it, tomatoes growing up this, sweet peas over there, and let's put some plants in here. Now this has a soaker ring, so what we'll do is we'll plant some flowers at the base of the soaker ring and they can grow out and over. All right. This has 3 of them in there. We'll leave them all together and they can grow and be happy. And then let's pop out some marigolds and what I think is cosmos. Okay, so this one says marigolds. Okay, so the plug has quite a bit there. So I'll put a little bit on this side. I'll go a little bit on that side. This one says Shasta daisies, but that's not true. We'll put a little bit on that side and a little bit on that side. Now look at this crazy root system. Now granted there are 4 in there, but still that was definitely ready to come out. I'm actually thinking these were the marigolds and these were the Shasta daisies, don't you think? Because this is a Shasta daisy leaf for sure, and this most definitely looks more like a marigold now that I think about it. So the tags were switched. Okay, let's plant some more. Have our head on straight and realize these are marigolds because they look like marigolds. I'm gonna put them with tomatoes. So 2 here, and I can grow some more, but I think I'll wait on putting one here because those ones are in pretty close proximity, and marigolds drive away pests that eat and like tomatoes. So that's the idea. Although some gardeners say that it doesn't work. And then remember the Shasta daisies are growing there in the corner. So let's put one here and one there. These are our forget-me-nots. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of make a space here for them. I don't actually recall what a forget-me-not looks like, so I'll realize when they kind of come up. And I think it's just a little purple flower. We'll see how big they get here. Okay guys, well, okay, let me take inventory real quick. We planted tomatoes, butter beans, flowers, peppers. I think that's it. Let's water in what we have. I had to turn on the air conditioning unit, so it might be loud, but let's water in everything heavily, and then we can move on to our grain stock planter. This herb tray is dill, that is mint,
I believe. Peppermint, basil, thyme, and oregano. I'm gonna save that for the downstairs garden. I actually have the kitchen garden. The window garden has more stuff that we'll put out there. So we're gonna grab these strawberries. This is our cosmos. Look at that. And it looks so much like the marigolds, so that's why I thought it was a Cosmo. Okay, I guess we're just doing the strawberries and the herbs from the kitchen. So let's grab these and go.
This is the cherry rose nasturtium, and I'm gonna put it down here with these pink and like violet-y colored carnations. So let's take a look, and this will be the last thing we do today. All right, so we're gonna just, the nasturtium plant will grow and trail over, and so we're gonna just move some soil. We can leave it in this pot. I'll just make it a little deeper because the pot will compost down. It is a made out of like cardboardy paper mesh, so we can just move that around. And do you see how it's like wanting to trail down? And it'll have a similar, it's a cherry rose nasturtium, so hopefully this will look good together. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. What we did today was we took things that we planted from seeds, including this nasturtium, and we started dispersing them in our upper garden beds. Next, we're going to finish the strawberries on the back porch in the vertical planter that we have, the green stock planter, and plant some more nasturtium. So thank you so much. Have a great week, and we'll see you in the next video.